The title of this podcast is You've Been Given a Gift. Don't Ruin It. This resonates with me deeply, and it has really informed how I live my life. I haven't always been great about it, but for the most part, I've been disciplined. And when people get to know me, that's one of the things that they describe about me, a trait that I have. A good friend of mine who I've known over 25 years told me a few months ago, like, Keith, you're the most disciplined person I know. And he was referring to my commitment to exercise. Back in the late 90s, we used to work out and exercise together. And over the years, I've maintained that commitment, whereas he has not. And almost every time I see him, which is quite often, he always comments on, hey, I got to get back at it. I got to get back at it. And it's easier, obviously, if you never stop. And he also has, observed the way that I've eaten over the last few years, over the last few decades, and that the more I learned about nutrition and what's going to help me really fuel my cells and honor this gift of the physical form that I've been given, I start to incorporate that in how I eat. I have no judgment about how other people eat. That's how they want to eat. For me, I really want to honor this gift that I've been given so I can really enjoy all of life experiences that show up as opportunities for me. When it's come to sleep, that's been something that I came to the party late on. While I knew the importance of sleep, just because I love information and facts and evidence and research about the benefits of sleep, I didn't incorporate it in my life until 10 years ago. For whatever reason, I thought that my life was, I was too busy to make it happen. And then I made some serious changes about 10 years ago, in which I said, how early do I need to start my day so I get everything done to ensure I can get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, at least 6 out of 7 days per week. And that has served to be pretty good for me. It's really helped. I thought that before I'm able to operate fine and even good on 46 hours of sleep. Well, let me tell you, if I felt good on 46 hours of sleep, I feel like a superhero on 8 hours of sleep. And I was also always surprised over the years before I started to become really serious about sleep. I was also always surprised about how great I felt on the rare occasions that did get 8 hours of sleep. I said, this is great. Then why wouldn't I repeat it? Why would I make this part of a non-negotiable for me? Well, I didn't, but now I'm on that train over the last 9 to 10 years. Now, there are other areas in which this idea of being given a gift and not ruining it didn't apply to me. I was not taking heed to that informative approach or way to look at life and this precious thing that we have. And an area that would be about getting bothered about situations which were out of my control, complaining about things that had already happened or which I had no control over. Those were things in which I was ruining my life. Obsessive thinking in the pursuit of perfection, not excellence, but perfection. Um, Worrying, being anxious, obsessive thinking, all those useless and unproductive behaviors that I was engaged in were ways in which I was not honoring the gift of the present moment, not honoring the gift of the life that I have now. And I've since changed to really align my behaviors, my thoughts, my feelings, to align them in a way that demonstrates that I am fully aware of this gift that I've been given. And I will do whatever it takes to be consistent in those behaviors so I do not ruin my life. That speaks to all of the behaviors that came very easy to me, which were no drinking, uh, no eating rich foods, no missed workouts. Now, that's my path, not someone else's path, but that's my path because I really want to honor the gift of this physical form. When people talk to me like, man, Keith, you eat so strict. I don't feel like it's strict. This thing is a temple. So I'm treating it like it's a temple. And the other areas in which those behaviors did not come easy, that life had to teach me a few lessons to get, were the things that I've already mentioned. Judging other people, judging situations, being bothered by things outside of my control. More and more with the daily practice that I have, with these opportunities to practice the principles of those daily practices, I've gotten to the other side of those things to where I have more leverage over them. I have more intentionality about not being in the grip of those things, which will lead a person to ruin precious moments in front of them, which turns into days, to weeks, to months, to years, to decades. And before you know, it's taking your very life and you've ruined it, not someone else. If your spouse is being challenging, don't let that ruin your experience. And it's not necessarily the spouse in most cases, it's your inability to handle that they are not adhering to the expectations that you've laid out. So you want to let all those things go. And when you do, what you will find is that you are not, or you are no longer ruining your life or blaming others for doing it. You will find that you are present for life. That when you show up to the present moment, you are serving it in the best way that you are capable of. And that is a beautiful, beautiful experience. Most recently, I have had the great pleasure of spending a lot of time with my good friend, John DeCuna. And I'm just watching him like do this and honor the gift that he's been given. He's so consistent with his workouts, and he travels quite a bit for both work and for family. And just the way that he has dedicated himself to being a healthier person. And it shows up everywhere. His ability to perform these surgeries that can take hours, uh, and to be really to be able to carry that load without it beating him down is remarkable. And then just seeing him come into a room and without telling anybody about what he does, uh, you can just see this warm energy that is captured in his smile. And then when he speaks, it's worth hearing. And I witnessed that just yesterday when we had an event in which he shared with some high school students that come to Mayo Clinic for a summer program to introduce them to all of the professions that are available in the healthcare industry. And I listened to him tell his journey to become a doctor. And the way in which he did it was an example of someone who was taking care of themselves in such a way, supporting their well being, that they have more themselves to give. He had just finished a robotic surgery, came over to talk to these high school students, and he wasn't rushed, he wasn't delayed, he was present for every bit of it. I caught him in the hallway before he walked in, and he was engaged in a conversation that was on something completely different, that has to deal with his administrative duties. And then he completed that and came into that room without, other than the attire that he was wearing, which is operation scrubs for the operating room, you'd have no idea of where he'd come from because they had his full attention. This is what you do when you take care of yourself in such a way that you honor the gift that you've been given, and in such a way that it is improving your life, which becomes a blessing to the lives of other people. And that's what happened yesterday. Listen to him evoke storytelling, humor, instructions for making wise life choices. And he finished it off with inspiration. Like, it was remarkable. And that's what I'm trying to do every single day. I'm sure you're doing it in your own way in your life. And so if you're not, or you are, to continue taking action and being consistent in behaviors that honor the gift of life that you've been given. It is a precious gift. Don't sleep it away. Don't get intoxicated so that you miss it, because the day is calling. Be there for all of it.